Welcome to Career Tools. This is Sarah.
And this is Amanda.
Today's podcast, Accepting a Job Offer, Part 1 of 1.
As always, our content has been crafted by humans and now certified by Proudly Human. The questions that this cast answers are, should I accept the offer? What should I say when accepting an offer? And how do I follow up on an offer?
If you want answers to these questions and more, keep listening.
Bad hires don't discriminate. They happen whether you're hiring in person or remotely. The Effective Hiring Manager Conference is available virtually, so you and every member of your hiring team can get a structured, behavioral interviewing process without the travel. 2 sessions, fully live, starts paying off on your next interview. Next session is July 16th. Learn more at manager-tools.com/EHMC.
Well, folks, I think that you heard in our intro, we've got a special guest on the show. Say hi, Amanda.
Hi.
And some of you will know that Amanda's been on the Career Tools podcasts in the past. But as of late, Mark and I have been doing the recordings simply because Amanda's incredibly busy, but we're trying to get her voice back out there.
I'm excited to be back.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we have actually a few new voices, I'm going to say, as far as our audience is concerned. We've got Allie, who's doing our PSAs now. So if you guys are hearing that voice come midway through these casts and you're unfamiliar with that person, that is Allie. And then, of course, on our Executive Speaker Series calls, as of late, you're hearing Alex's voice. For those of you that are not Executive Tools licensees, the best way to hear Alex on those calls is by becoming an Executive Tools licensee. So yeah, lots of new voices. Exciting times.
Yeah. Well worth the listen.
Well worth the listen. I like it. I like it. And we actually have a podcast to talk about today. Another exciting topic. Today we're talking about how to accept a job offer. And folks, for many of us, accepting a job offer feels like the finish line. Like finally, it's done. But if you treat it that way, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities to begin your new relationship with this new firm on the right foot. What you say in your acceptance, when you say it, how you say it, all of these things shape the first impression that you make for your new organization before you've even started. And this is an important moment, right? Saying yes, accepting your offer is incredibly important. And a fumbled acceptance cools enthusiasm on both sides, yours and theirs. Whereas a confident, well-executed yes reinforces exactly why they wanted to hire you in the first place. So it's an important moment and we want to get it right. So this is how we do it.
All right. And how we're going to do it is we're going to talk about first when to say yes. Then we're going to cover what to say because, Manager Tools loves to give you the words to say. And then we're going to tell you how to say it. We're going to follow up with a thank you note and how to keep in touch.
Perfect. Love it. So let's start with the when to say yes. And folks, we're going to talk for a while here about this topic, but essentially say yes the moment you decide that the answer is yes. Even if that is immediately after you're made an offer, like right there in the room, they make you an offer, say yes immediately. If you don't need to think about it, then don't think about it. Just say yes.
And if you've been to any of our hiring manager conferences, which I just recently did in Washington, D.C. area, you would know that we recommend that the processes take a lot more time than the 1 to 2 hours that most managers take. I believe mine was at least 17 hours.
When we interviewed you? That sounds right. That sounds right.
Now, we know as a candidate, if you've spent those 30 to 50 hours with a hiring manager and you are still there, you're still sitting in that chair, you probably want the job.
Yeah,
so,
that sounds right. Yeah, it's a lot of hours if you don't want it.
Yeah, you basically already work there. And once you've heard that the terms of the offer, as long as they are acceptable to you, say yes. Don't leave the interview room. You don't need to appear to be thinking about it. My favorite is, I just want them to be on the, no.
Yeah, exactly. I want to be cool, make it look like nonchalant about it.
let's leave the drama for Netflix, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to be thinking about it. So this kind of posturing is completely unnecessary. So if you don't have to think about it, you've already decided I've spent 50 hours with these folks, just say yes.
Exactly. And I think, Amanda, I think some people think that they should be more aloof about it, right? They should look a little bit more cool about it. Like they're not that eager.
This isn't middle school.
Yeah, this isn't middle school. Exactly. That's exactly it. That's a really good way of putting it. And folks, of course, if you've not spent that kind of time, like if you haven't spent the 30 to 50 hours worth of interviews, for example, or the terms that you're being offered aren't what you were expecting, maybe you're really not sure, or you haven't discussed saying yes with your spouse before you went into the final interview. And I mean,
that's a little questionable. I think that's for a different podcast, though.
Yeah, well,
if you're not talking to your
that's not
spouse about
manager
these
tools.
things,
Exactly.
that's not this. Like, if you're not talking to your people, I don't have a podcast for that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess what Amanda's saying is, folks, you should have talked to your spouse before the final interview, but nonetheless, if you have another interview tomorrow that you might also get an offer from, and you want that job more than you want this job, for example, if any of those things are true, then don't say yes. But again, if you're decided, if you know for sure, then just say yes.
Yeah. And if you do need to think about it, if you do need to have that conversation with your spouse because you haven't yet, or you need to think about whether the difference in terms is worth the opportunity to you, then you can say yes or no as soon as you've decided. Right? Don't hesitate when you know whether that's a yes or no.
Or a no. Exactly. Yeah.
And we hope that the good offers we know have a deadline, right? So I just want to let you know that you don't have to wait until that deadline is up to give your answer, right? Again, we're not posturing. We're not waiting. As soon as you decide, if they give you 7 days to decide, and you know at day 3, let them know. Now, if you decide to wait until the very end of that deadline, you're going to be sending a different type of message altogether to that hiring manager. And it's essentially saying that you're saying yes, but you're not saying it very enthusiastically, right? You're like, right? Very last minute, I'm just like, I had nothing else going on, so I'm going to say yes, right? So don't hesitate. If you know, you've talked to your folks, you know the opportunity is good, say yes when you know. You really want to give that positive outlook, that enthusiastic outlook going into the new job, because it's the first step in like a really exciting time.
Yeah. I think actually, Amanda, I kind of think about that a little bit like the speed limit. Like the speed limit's 100, or I guess the speed limit is.
Oh, well, that's fun.
I'm sorry, I'm Canadian,
that's
so
kilometers.
I speak kilometers an hour. So 60.
But it sounds more fun than 65.
Exactly. Let's call it 65 miles an hour. That is the speed limit. That's the speed limit. But that doesn't mean you have to go 65 miles an hour. Like, you shouldn't go below a certain acceptable minimum, but you don't.
Let's then put it at 75 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the highway speed.
Right? Like, you don't have to, you can go less than kind of the same way. You don't have to wait till your acceptance date to immediately say yes. You can say yes right away. That's just kind of your, not bare minimum. What's the opposite of bare minimum? Your complete maximum. I don't know what the right word is, but it's kind of like this is the last date by which you have to make a decision. So don't wait. Okay. So we talked about when to say it. Now let's talk about what to actually say. So what we would say is, and you can write this down if you're not a licensee, but I urge you to become a licensee. You'll have the script. Not that this one is complicated though.
And we love a good script. They're all on our show notes.
Yeah, we do. Exactly. What you would say is, I accept. I'm delighted that you've made me this offer, and I'm excited about joining your team. One of the reasons that we find that we hear people hesitate is that they don't feel like they know what the right words to say were in that moment. And folks, there's no really need to use any particular words. Now, what we will also say, though, is in some countries, you're going to need to formally accept in writing, but that doesn't stop you giving a verbal yes ahead of that. So we'd say give a verbal yes and then follow it up in writing if that's the requirement, but always the verbal without hesitation.
And If you have left the building and you need to call the hiring manager, it's absolutely acceptable to accept by leaving a voicemail. Again, they want to know the information, not just waiting till they answer the phone. Everyone's busy. Leave the voicemail. Hiring is often as stressful for the hiring manager as it is for the candidate. And based on this previous conference I was just at, we know it's a very heavy process for everyone involved. It's very stressful. So once the hiring manager has made a big decision to hire you, then she's waiting for you to let her know. It's just as exciting for the hiring manager bringing someone onto the team that they're very protective of.
I hope they say yes.
Yeah, I made this decision. Please say yes.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
They're just as excited about it because they're investing in you. And so whether you're going to accept or if you're going to have to go through this whole process, they're waiting to know if they're going to have to go through this whole process again.
Yeah, exactly.
They put an offer. If they offer you something, they're waiting on either delaying someone else or they don't know what's going to happen. They're waiting on you.
Yeah.
So you don't just have to leave a voicemail that says, call me back. In fact, please don't do that.
Don't do that. You're just like the doctor. Call me back. I have your test results. What? Am I
That's
dying?
the worst.
That's the literal worst. Exactly. Then you call back. You're fine. It's clear. And you're like, seriously, you did that to me? That was mean.
Yeah, I have some family history. If any one of my siblings left, hey, call me back, immediately, I'm running to the hospital because something is terribly wrong. If you can't give me information, it's not great news.
It's not good. Mm-hmm.
We don't assume positive intent with those voicemails.
No, exactly.
Call me back.
No.
It's terrible. So it's just really cruel. So saying I'm calling to accept your offer and I'm delighted that you've made me this offer and excited about joining your team. And I'll be free to discuss the next steps with you as soon as you are available is a great voicemail for your hiring manager to hear. And if we're thinking of how the first impression of this relationship is going to be, let's start off on the right foot. Not the call me back. Terrible news. Terrible news.
Terrible news. Exactly. Now, folks, some of you might be wondering, well, what about text message, or instant message? What about voicemail? Generally, no, we don't recommend it. Yes, you can accept by email, but it's much less personal. It's much less immediate, and it doesn't show your enthusiasm nearly as much. So yes, going back to what Amanda was saying earlier about how you want to show your excitement, not, for example, waiting till the very last minute to say yes, and saying yes sooner than that implies urgency, excitement, enthusiasm. And it's kind of the same thing here. Sure, you could send an email, but that's about the least exciting way of saying, yes, I'm super excited, that I can imagine anybody feeling. So phoning them, leaving a voicemail, even though that's not how you would normally do things because you're more of a text message person or you prefer to leave an email, I wouldn't.
I love a good email. I love a good text message. I'm here for it. I also know that people read emails differently. It depends your mood of how you read an email, right?
Yeah.
So make sure they hear your tone, that intention behind, yes, I accept it. Because yes, I accept this offer is how they're going to read it.
Right.
Versus you calling them and saying, yes, I accept this offer, even if it's on a voicemail.
Yeah. Especially if they're in a lousy mood, they're going to read it. Yeah, I accept. And then it's
even if you send a thumbs up,
yeah,
right?
Right.
You're
I know.
take it the wrong way if they're in a mood.
Yeah, exactly. Or if there's any potential to take it the wrong way, then you want to avoid that altogether.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Most workplace conflict isn't about personality clashes. It's about communication styles that don't translate. And most people respond by avoiding the other person, not by changing their approach. The Effective Communicator Conference teaches you to observe behavioral cues, understand what they mean, and respond in the way that actually connects. Fewer misunderstandings, better relationships, available individually and for organizations. For more information, please visit manager-tools.com/ECC.
All right. So we've talked about when to say and what to say, but let's talk about how to say it. And I'm going to emphasize we're going to say it with enthusiasm.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
I hope this is getting, recorded in the right way. But I'm excited about this for everyone taking a new job. This is one of the most exciting moments. And yes, I know this is a very formal moment and it's a very serious choice for you and the hiring manager for their organization. But that doesn't mean that you can't be excited and very enthusiastic and happy about the next steps and saying yes. Because I would not want to bring someone onto my team that was not excited to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to go to a job, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I would like this job.
I know.
No,
In that moment, you're like, oof.
Mm,
Ooh, maybe I should have offered to somebody different. Yeah, exactly.
right. And remember Horstman's third law of interviewing. We'll take 90% less ability for 10% more attitude every day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
If you accept with enthusiasm and show them that you're excited to be there, that is above all else, right? It just shows that you're ready to go and they made the right decision. And you want that to follow through your whole acceptance. And I would even say like the onboarding.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I want to say, I feel like our listeners are feeling like we're hitting this enthusiasm point real hard. But folks, there's a few reasons for that. Some of you might be so overwhelmed by the moment, right? And I think to myself, those of us who are more high C, for example, those reserved task-focused people who are more analytical, more data-driven, sometimes you intake surprising information, and that surprise of information causes you to be a little bit more quiet, more thoughtful, less enthusiastic seeming in your response. And being that overwhelmed can oftentimes give the impression that you're not excited, that you're not happy. I mean, I say this all the time in our effective communicator conferences. High Cs are the people in the world that are always getting told, why aren't you excited? This is so exciting. Be excited. Why aren't you excited? And their response is, oh, I'm incredibly excited. This is the most exciting day of my life. And it's just, I mean, without a smile.
It's neutral. It's a neutral, pleasant face. I give high C's credit. Neutral, pleasant face.
Exactly. And they are excited. I mean, excited, folks, is an internal state. It is. No one can tell you you're not excited and be more correct about it than you are. It's a feeling. No one can see your feelings. But what they usually mean when they say be excited is smile and make wide eyes and nod at me and lean ahead. And it's kind of that same thing. You might feel excited. You might feel incredibly happy, but you want to go a step further than feeling that way and having the hiring manager feel as though you feel that way. Because again, this is the beginning of your relationship. And you want to convince the hiring manager that it's going to be a beautiful and happy relationship, that they've done right by hiring you, that you're excited and you're ready to tackle this challenge. And again, not like you're taking this as a consolation prize. That doesn't bode well for the beginning of this relationship.
Yeah. And even if you're not the most talkative, like expressive person, you show this through your actions of accepting it early, right? Being like, oh, I know I need to talk to my people, but I am very excited. I want to say yes right now. Just give me a couple days to process.
Yes, exactly.
That goes a huge, long way. I'm not saying you have to be rah-rah and a cheerleader, but through your actions of the words that you actually say, saying things like, I am excited, I just need a few days, or I am excited, yes, goes a long ways to, instead of waiting till the last minute and then sending an email. Like it's shown by actions,
yeah, it's
right?
very different. Mm-hmm.
All right. And then after all of that, you've said the right things. You're moving forward. After you've accepted the role, send a thank you note. The same day if you can. And no, a thank you note is not over the top. It's demonstrating enthusiasm. We just said you should demonstrate it if you can't go over the top. So this is a solid way to follow up. And I have yet to see anyone that doesn't like a good thank you note.
Yeah.
I would say that they don't know that how much they appreciate a thank you note until they get it. It's kind of like out of sight, out of mind, but then you get one and you're like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had no idea. Right? And you feel good about it.
You feel good about it. Because it's done so rarely, by so few people that it's still such a surprise. I mean, most of us, all we're getting in our mailboxes, just flyers and trash, right? So it feels kind of nice to get like an actual real thing. Everyone's like, oh, what is this little surprise for me? It's kind of, you know what I mean? It's like, I like this. So yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And folks, I mean, if you're new to this audience, you may not realize we have an entire podcast on sending thank you notes, which we will link to at the bottom of this podcast. So you can listen to that one as well. And again, sending the thank you note, just it helps the hiring manager be convinced that they made the right choice. There are just really, not that I can see, there are no downsides to more thank you notes in this world.
Yeah, because it takes time.
It does. It takes time. And so if you think of it and it's an icing. It's a cherry. I like it.
Yeah. And then after all of that, we're going to say, keep in touch. It is best practice for the hiring manager to keep in touch with you.
Yep.
A call every couple of days is what we recommend to make sure that you're getting the information that you need to let you know what you can do to prepare for the upcoming role and essentially just to touch base.
Now, what we will say is not every manager in the world is a manager tools manager. And what that means is if the hiring manager doesn't keep in touch with you, that doesn't stop you taking the initiative and doing it yourself. And here is, for those of you that like the emails and the text messages, this is where you can employ some of those other tools as well, if you like, and make some of your touch points. I would say some, not all of your touch points, non-telephone in terms of your after the acceptance follow-up bits.
When you are going to keep in touch, yes, the hiring manager should be keeping in touch, but we recommend that if they're not, you still call and ask if there's any preparation that you need to do. Call and ask for any details that might have been left out. Continue to message to confirm you've completed any actions that you've been asked to do or completed any paperwork. Just make sure that you're reporting in, keeping up with what was due on your end so they know where you stand. And then use all of these opportunities to build the relationship. Again, to show your enthusiasm and convince the hiring manager that they made the right choice. And by being prepared for day one, you can get so much more done. If you just wait to show up, no one's going to know you. Everyone's going to be slow to move. But if you've built a relationship, if you showed that you were excited, you've kept up on all the things that you needed to do, you can hit the ground running, which is a really good feeling when you're starting a new job.
Yeah. I think actually, I mean, I don't know, Amanda, I've never been, well, maybe that's not true. I was going to say I've never been onboarded in a virtual world, but that's not true. I was obviously onboarded with manager tools and we're virtual, but you've been onboarded more recently than I have. I would think that the comparison between being an individual who was onboarded remotely or virtually versus a person that was onboarded in person, it's harder to feel tethered to the organization virtually.
Yeah, it's even more important to keep in contact both ways, right?
Totally.
Feeling like you don't get lost in, the land of nowhere, because if you talk to no one until you show up, and showing up on your first day virtually or remotely is awkward. It's not like you're going to a conference room or you're checking a front desk. You're like, I'm just sitting here.
I know. Wonder who will call me today. Yeah.
I'll just sit here and wait till someone messages me.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And folks, I don't know if you're anything like me. If you're something like me, know that you won't remember to reach out to them every 3 days. Set a little reminder for yourself just to ping them once every 3 days, even if it's just to say hi. All right, so let me wrap it up. Folks, saying yes to a job offer is more than a formality. It's really your first act as a future employee. The timing, the energy, the follow-through, all of these things send signals about who you are and how you operate. So we recommend that you do it well and you start your relationship off on exactly the right foot. All right. Well, thank you, Amanda. Thank you for joining us today. This was great.
Thank you, Sarah. That was fun.
Lovely having you back.
I loved it.
All right. Thank you, folks, for joining us. We hope that this one helped you. Now, help us help others and tell your friends. And of course, follow, rate, and review our podcast. And remember, 5 stars only, please.